Imagine being so afraid of water that the mere thought of it sends you into a state of panic and dread. Imagine this fear being so intense that it goes far beyond swimming, but it includes water in all its forms, from rain to bathtubs. You can't even bathe your own children. Being around water is so terrifying. Now imagine that fear vanishing in just minutes. It sounds like a miracle, doesn't it? Well, stick around, because what you're about to hear is nothing short of astonishing. Hi there, I'm Nick Ortner, New York Times bestselling author of The Tapping Solution, and today I want to take you back to where it all began, the story that catapulted tapping, or EFT, into the spotlight and changed countless lives, including mine. It's a story I'll never, ever forget. I don't think you will either, and it's one that inspires me every single day.
I was working with Mary. Mary is the first case in TFT. She suffered from an extremely severe phobia of water. I've never seen a worse phobia than Mary's. And it was extremely intense. She had nightmares several times a week. She was in her 40s at the time, and she had had this as far back as anyone in her family could remember. Since infancy, she was absolutely terrified of water. Nobody knows why.
That was Dr. Roger Callahan, a traditionally trained psychologist who was at his wit's end. This is back in 1980. He had tried everything in the book to help his client Mary overcome her debilitating water phobia. And I mean everything. Cognitive behavioral therapy, hypnosis, biofeedback, you name it. In the year that they'd been working together, they just had minimal amount of progress. But the fear for Mary was still completely overpowering. Here's Mary explaining what it felt like.
Oh, it taken complete control of my life. I mean, I couldn't be around any kind of water mostly. Big bodies of water, rain, anything like that. I just...
Even on television?
And on television. I could watch it on television. I get up just almost a nervous wreck.
Mary wasn't just afraid of the ocean or swimming pools. Her fear extended to all forms of water. Can you imagine living like that? Do you have a fear or phobia that's maybe keeping you stuck? But then one day, Mary said something when working with Dr. Callahan that sparked an idea in his brain. She said, I have this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach when I look at the water. In a moment of inspiration, Dr. Callahan asked Mary to tap on a specific acupressure point corresponding to the stomach meridian. This is the point I'm tapping right here under the eye. And what happened next was nothing short of miraculous.
So I just asked her to tap right here while she thought about water. And she did this, and her expression changed dramatically. She looked at me and she said, "It's gone." I didn't know what she was talking about. I wasn't expecting anything, of course, nor was she. And I said, "What's gone?" She says, "That awful feeling in the pit of my stomach when I think of water."
Felt like a big load had lifted up off of me.
Mary was so surprised by the change in how she felt. The butterflies in her stomach went away. She felt settled, but she was skeptical, right? If it would make any difference. She felt better, but did it do something to the water phobia? So she gave it the best test she could think of. She went to the beach and she faced the biggest body of water possible, the ocean.
I said, I'm going to the beach. If the beach don't do it, I'm cured. So I went to the beach at night and I walked on the thing and it never has returned.
So just like that, from tapping underneath the eye, Mary's lifelong fear of water vanished. And guess what? That transformation has lasted over 30 years. She's never been plagued by that fear again. After such unbelievable results with Mary, Dr. Callahan went on to refine his technique to create TFT, and eventually one of his students, Gary Craig, developed EFT, which is what I use and teach. Emotional freedom techniques. It's what we now call tapping. That's where it was born. Mary's story has stuck with me since the very first time I heard it. I've been in this field for a long time, over 20 years now, but stories like Mary still leave me in awe. I mean, just think about it. A lifelong, completely debilitating fear of water that nothing else could touch, nothing else could fix, nothing else could help, gone after just a few minutes of tapping. It's just absolutely remarkable. At the time when Dr. Callahan did this with Mary, he didn't know why he had worked so well. But now, decades later, with over 300 scientific studies published on EFT tapping, we know that it wasn't just some lucky random coincidence that cured Mary's water phobia. Now we know that tapping calms the amygdala, our emotional control center that controls the fight or flight response. We've learned that tapping can help rewire the brain so that the things that used to drive our nervous system into a state of fear no longer do so. So the water phobia, right? If we think about what was happening, Mary, some part of her body, her life, her experiences had said, water is danger. When she tapped while looking at the water, and she didn't do all the points, she just did under the eye, but now we do more points that we've learned about. When she tapped, it sent that calming signal. It interrupted something. It got rid of that fear. And we've seen that tapping can create real tangible changes within the brain and the body. It can do things like balancing stress hormone levels like cortisol. It can help us feel more calm, cool, and collected. There are now science-based mechanisms explaining the amazing results we see with tapping, like Mary and her fear of water. I've been lucky enough to witness transformations just as profound as Mary's through the years, and I can safely say that tapping isn't just about stress relief or relaxation, which is part of it, which is great. It's about life-altering, mind-blowing change. And the best part, you can experience it too. So if you have a fear, an anxiety, a phobia, something keeping you stuck, something that you're just like been dealing with for so long, and you just know that you want to break out of, that you're tired of your body going through the same patterns, the same mechanisms, the same challenges, I invite you to explore this technique. So if you have a fear and phobia, if you're ready to tackle it, to break through, we've got a bunch of things in the Tapping Solution app for that. Give it a shot, see what happens. Maybe you will have a result like Mary. Maybe you're the next Mary. We have something that's been keeping you stuck, and now you can break out of it. Comment below if you've had an experience with tapping, if you've overcome a fear or phobia, if you have a fear or phobia that you want to transform, or if there's something else that you just want to get rid of. Share this with a friend. We all know people who's like, oh, that person really struggles with flying. I always joke, the one place I see people tapping in public is on a plane. Because if you are scared of flying and you're on a plane, boy, does it help things. You don't care at that moment. You just want to calm down the body. I know that just like Mary, you too can break free from whatever is keeping you stuck. So if you're sitting on the fence wondering if tapping can really help you, remember Mary's story. Imagine what might be possible for you if you just give it a try. And if this is a story that made you think of someone in your life who's struggling with something that's holding them back from living their life to the fullest, share this video with them. Subscribe, comment, like. Join us. Let's spread the power of tapping to transform lives. Until next time, this is Nick Ortner. Take care and keep tapping.